Hey, so hello and welcome to our monthly motivation meetup for December/November. This will probably, it's kind of like this time of year can be kind of busy. So it would have been last weekend, but I was away on retreat last weekend. And then you know how this time of year gets. Once December rolls around, it becomes very full of social obligations and family obligations, and it becomes quite challenging to put something on a calendar and get people to be able to find time to commit to come to something like this. So that to say, this would be our December meeting, and we'll probably meet like this again in January, but we do meet every Monday as well. So you can always join us every Monday. And I haven't taken a look at the calendar to see when Christmas lands, and it's Christmas
on Saturdays.
Christmas is on a Saturday?
Sunday.
Yes, well,
Sunday. Oh, okay. Well, we're all good then. We can still meet for our Monday
we
meditation.
celebrate on the 24th, so that's why.
Okay. Well, then we're all good. So that means that New Year's Eve is on.
It's
It's
on the
also
same
on
day of week as Christmas Eve, always. So whatever day
Right.
Christmas Eve is New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. So New Year's Day will be Monday. So that works out fine too, because I kind of suspect that this is maybe a blanket assumption, but you know, the kind of people that hang out here in this community aren't really big time partiers. So that probably makes it okay for Monday meditators. Okay. So we'll probably be running all the way through Mondays in December and January too. So that means we still got our Mondays. So today I thought we would meet and go over, just talk about our theme for December, which is keep calm and yoga on. And today I will be sharing with you one of the experience of our members, Hannah Gilly. And actually tomorrow at our meetup, which is basically the same, except for because of the time difference, Hannah will be here herself and speaking for herself about her experience. So today I will speak for Hannah. I did meet with her and she shared her experience with me. So we'll be speaking about her experience. I'll take you through a little bit of a guided meditation today, and then you'll have some time to speak about your experience. So I have to share a little personal experience with you to open today, because it fits so well with our theme of keep calm and yoga on. So I have to say, lately, no matter what question I ask my meditation teacher, and they'll be like big, really weighty questions, like they'll be the kind of questions that when I ask my teacher, it's like, you know, the eyes are leaking questions. Like they're big, you know? So, but no matter what I ask them lately, it feels like the answer is always the same. And so it's like the answer is basically a variation on our theme for this month, which is keep calm and yoga on. So no matter what I ask him, he basically says, well, it's just a sign that your ground is not stable enough yet. and then I'm like, yeah, okay, well, then, so the answer to that is that it's time, it's like back to the drawing board, right? Like time to go back to practice again and time to keep practicing. So I thought that was kind of cute. No matter what I ask him lately, it just seems to be that that's the answer that I keep getting from him. It's just a sign that your ground is not stable enough yet. So it fit well with today's theme. So what I'm going to share with you today is Hannah's experience. I'm not sure if a lot of you will know Hannah Gilly, because she's quite active on the forum, and maybe you've listened to her interview. Many of you are new though too, so maybe you haven't. Okay, so I probably shouldn't assume this then. I'll give you maybe more of an introduction. Hannah's been a member for a long time, and she's been practicing with us for a long time. So she's got a depth of experience and a lot of ground here. So keep that in mind as I share this with you. She's also been living with a chronic illness for her entire life. She lives with chronic fatigue syndrome. She lives with epilepsy. So she lives with a condition in that it's one of those conditions that very much I want to say, like, from the perspective of somebody who lives with chronic pain, it's like a lot of your life is taken up with managing that condition, right? You do not want to relapse into another epileptic attack, right? Because when you go into an epileptic attack for her, as an adult, you fall and you can injure yourself, right? This is a very scary thing, can be a very scary thing. So this can be very traumatic, very scary, can very much set you back, can be very exhausting. I think you can all relate to the kind of fear surrounding living with something like that, and how much something like practice, having a yoga practice, having a meditation practice would be important to you in your life when you're living with chronic fatigue, living with something like epilepsy. Does that, I think, it makes sense. So I had wanted to speak to Hannah and bring her experience forward because she'd had a lot of rather interesting experiences with her practice over the last few months that I thought was really interesting to speak about. So I'm just going to pull my notes forward so I can speak about it from her perspective. So one of the things that she spoke about, and she's spoken a lot about, was that the big thing for her was that the more that she's tuned in her body, the more she's felt ease on all layers of her being, that it's allowed her body to relax, and that everything else has become more easier as well. She's felt the stuckness letting go, and she's felt flashes of inspiration coming. So the big thing that has stood out to her this autumn is that as the tension let go and let away, she found that creativity really emerged. And what she saw was she was creating mandalas, and she saw her drawings become enlarged. She saw repeating patterns, and she saw that it was really unique and really personal. And she saw this as a real expression of her true self. And so that it felt like it was really coming from her body. It felt like it was really rhythmic and really repetitive. And she felt like it was something that she was really nurturing in her body. So whereas in the past, she said her creative expression felt like something that she would need a lot of approval for. She would need to be checking in with other people. This felt like a real expression of her true nature. So that was something that she felt that by letting go of a lot of stuck patterns in her body, by letting go of tension, that it cleared the pathways for this creative expression to come forward. And that's what she felt was the biggest thing that's come forward for her through her practice. I asked her to speak about other ways that she has felt that this has changed her life, that things, other ways in her life that practices changed for her. And she spoke a lot about how there's so much uncertainty in the world right now. And she spoke about a couple of world events that she thought that she's noticed that were quite threw a lot of people off center. So she spoke about the EU referendum, and she spoke about the US election. And I know for myself, those two things really threw me off. I felt really thrown off by both of those. And she said for herself that she didn't feel panicked in either way by both of those. It wasn't that the outcome of either one of those were what she wanted. So when the EU decided to leave, she didn't feel panicked. She wanted to stay. The ideals didn't line up with her. But she said, okay, let's open the door and see what happens. And again, with the US election, she said it could be a huge change for the world. She didn't feel fright. She didn't grab onto the fear, but she felt that she had this ground to rest into. So it's like that, like I was speaking about with my meditation, right? The ground for her was much more stable. So I said to her, I actually asked her, I'm like, really? Because I wasn't buying it. I'm like, really? It didn't bother you? It didn't throw you off at all? I really double checked with her on this. And I asked her, so how did your practice really allow you to let go of the fear? And she said she is able to let go of a lot of tension, let go of a lot of emotions, and in her practice she has a lot of emotional release. She cries when she needs to cry, and that's how it happens. So then I asked her, because she does a lot of the somatic meditation. I said, how has the somatic meditation changed your practice then? And she said it's really changed her way of doing practice, actually. She says she's let go of the need to do something, or of needing it to be a certain way. So she doesn't feel like she has to do a yoga class. She doesn't feel the guilt of it. She realizes that the year is cyclical. And so part of listening to her body means that she stopped overriding the message of her body. So instead of feeling like there's a should, one of the things, she's actually quite pitta in nature. So in the summer, when it was quite hot and she wanted more movement, she allowed her body to go into more movement. But as soon as it became too hot, she would listen and back off because it would aggravate her. And then now she's allowing things to be more calm and to do less as they go into winter. So she's really finding herself tuning into the rhythm of nature more, following the moonstruck section more. And at the end of autumn, as it got cooler too, she recognized that as the heat cooled down, she actually felt her energy pick up a little bit too. Like she talked about how summer lasted really long and winter didn't actually really kick in until quite a bit later, and how she recognized that. So not just following the seasons on the calendar, but following it actually where she felt it in her body, in her own body. The other thing I asked her about was how yoga has helped her with her chronic illness. And she said it's helped her with bringing acceptance and awareness to it. So one of the things that she spoke about essentially was the difference between what she herself can do and kind of what the world expects us to do. These are kind of, that would be kind of my summary of it. So she's come to realize that she can only see so many people at a time and not that often. And so she's started to listen to her body for that. And she's realized that there's nothing wrong with that. There's no reason to feel any guilt about it. And that it's her life, and it doesn't have to look like somebody else's life. So somebody else may be able to see a lot more people, may be able to, but that's just not true for her. For her, she needs a lot of alone time. And I did ask her about where she does feel like I kind of kept asking her, so where does, this can't be one and done for you. Where does tension come in for you? Because, you're a human being. Where does stress come for you? And she said it's when her husband gets stressed. And if he tells her that he's had a stressful day at work, or somebody's wronged him in some way, she feels the tension in her body. And she starts to feel herself tune into that. But she says that as it arises, she can tune into it and start to let it go. And it's a cue so she talks about the layers of her body, the koshas. So there's a physical body, there's an emotional body, there's an energetic body, a spiritual body. So when one layer, so the emotional body, gets cued off, she says it's a sign to her that her physical body needs to let go. So I thought that was really interesting. I asked her what her practice looks like on a day-to-day basis. She talked about she's made it a commitment to be at every Monday's live meditation class. She puts it on her calendar, and it's as if it was a class that she signed up for, and she shows up for it every week. She finds it supports her through the week when she comes to that. She's a big fan of the connective tissue practices. I don't know if many of you have heard her talk about this, but she did do the foot connective tissue practice every day for well over, it must have been a year, it may have even been more than a year. Hannah's a deep diver, so she'll do one practice for a long time. And I know now that area has really unfolded for her. There's a lot of depth there for her. And I know now she's doing the lower back rehydration, the foam roller on her lower back and pelvis before the somatic meditation. And now she's doing a 3-part breath. So some form of connective tissue and somatic meditation makes up a big part of her practice. And that's what she spoke about. So that's Hannah's experience. The big thing for her was the creative unfolding that was unlocked for her when the tension let go. Any questions about that? I can try to answer questions on her behalf.
Me, it's not a question. It's actually just although pains, and I have not a chronic pain, but I also don't have a chronic disease, but the path on the way to yoga and also this path with yoga is quite similar, and also the unfolding of the creativity. I can really relate to that, and it is funny to just notice that there are, through this internet and the online communities, you actually get in touch all over the place with people that are experiencing the same thing as you do, and you always thought that in your environment you are the only one who's experiencing it and nobody really understands you. But then suddenly, then you get these messages and you read in the community, oh, I have this and I did this and that's how I arrived there and that's what I did this, and then you're like, okay, it's a small world, in the end it is. You just have to find the like-minded people, and for me, I noticed that I can find them more online than I do actually in my real life, although I have an extended family and also an extended friendship family, but still it's very weird. So I can really relate to her path and also how she's opening up now.
I think it's the importance of sharing our stories too, because we tend to stay in isolation and think that we're the only ones experiencing these things. This is a different example, but right now I have a teenage daughter, and I thought, I feel like I'm the only one going through the torment of rejection from a teenage daughter right now. And as soon as I started opening up about this experience to my other friends with daughters at the same age, it's like, actually, no. Everybody who has a daughter my age is being rejected in a very similar way by their teenage daughter. So I think it speaks to the importance of sharing our stories and not being shamed by them. And, we all have our own, we could go around this whole room and everybody would have some experience that they feel is not worthy of being shared because it's too frightening to share, and it's just part of being a human being, right? We all have these parts of us. They all make us what we are, So I agree with you, Sandrine. It's and I'm grateful that we're part of this community to be able to share these stories, see our commonality more. I love how you're all laughing at my little story.
It's just because we can relate.
Right?
Melissa, can I just say something that I've seen in Hannah? I've been with Hannah for a while, and I have really had the privilege. She inspires me with her dedication and her determination to continue on in whatever way possible, even when she's feeling her worst. And even when today, when I was posting in the forum, I even mentioned something about I'm loving her new creativity. I had no idea that this was going to be part of the topic for our meetups. It's just been a beautiful unfolding, and I think of Hannah and I just think, wow. She's beautiful, and I love it for her. I love her yoga practice, and I just wanted to kind of testify that her story's a real one.
Yeah.
It really, it's just beautiful, and I love the way she shares it. And I just love Hannah. That's all.
Yeah. And I think Hannah is incredibly brilliant and talented, and that's true for each one of us, right? We each have our own brilliance within us. And I think the more we rest in practice and the more we release all the crappy layers that are sitting on top, the easier, like if Hannah's story tells you anything, that the more you release all the tension, all the blockages, then just that expression is free to, it's like the kink in the hose. You release the kink in the hose, and then it's free to start expressing yourself without any effort whatsoever. It just becomes this unfolding. And all you have to do, and we're going to do it now, all you have to do is relax, let go of tension. That's all you have to do.
That sounds so easy, right?
And I'm not saying it's simple, but it's not easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Since I'm practicing yoga now much more regularly for a year, more or less, I have actually noticed that when I'm sitting at my desk at the office, although I think I'm not tensioning up and I'm all cool and I'm not stressed by the situation, I just feel, this one here going like this. And
Yeah.
this is just because I do my regular yoga practice. And then I sit at my desk and I'm like, you have to let go. You have to let go. And then, just reconcentrate and recenter and then let go. And it helped me so much also at work, especially because this is my stress let out. Where people then told me, you became much more relaxed. What happened to you?
It can make other people a little uncomfortable, right? When you don't join the stress train. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why are you so cool? You have to be.
Yeah. Why aren't you freaking out? Yeah. So shall we try a little bit of this now? Shall we do a little bit of tension release, letting go?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and lie down on your backs. You don't need to be in your camera spot. Lie on your backs with your knees bent, your feet flat on the floor. This is what we do on Mondays. I'll mute you so you have a quiet environment. So we'll do we'll do a more condensed version of this. Your dog is adorable, Sandrine. I think I've muted you now. You'll have to introduce your dog after. Okay. Okay. Oh my goodness, so cute. Okay, so you're lying on your backs with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. And you want your feet to be a comfortable distance from your buttocks, just so that your low back and your pelvis can relax. Well, now you've got another cute dog showing up. The animals always come.
They always do yoga with me. I cannot let them out.
They know when it's time.
Yes.
Your knees are bent, your feet are flat on the floor, and they're a comfortable distance from your pelvis, so that your pelvis and your low back are comfortable. You may even place something underneath your head if that makes your neck more comfortable. The whole point here is that you are comfortable. So whatever you can do to make yourself more relaxed. And then begin to notice how as soon as you lie down on the ground, that your body can relax. Feel the effects of gravity on your body. Start to notice how the earth underneath you begins to receive the weight of your body. And you can start to let go into the earth underneath you. And you'll feel parts of your body, your feet, your pelvis, your low back, your shoulders, and your head. You'll feel those points of contact on the ground. And you can allow those points of contact without any effort whatsoever to deepen with the ground. So we'll begin with your feet. And you'll feel the tension in your feet in a general way, feeling the bones of your feet, the flesh of your feet, the connective tissue in your feet, the blood, the circulation in your feet, and allowing all the attention in your feet to come forward, feeling for tension in your feet, wherever it may be, in your toes, the sole of your feet, the top of your feet, the arch of your feet, the inside, the outside. And allowing that tension to come forward without needing to do anything about it at first, just going right into the tension. Letting the tension come forward. And as you begin to identify with the tension, you may notice that it begins to change, shift, and dissolve slightly. And start to follow that transformation of the tension as it begins to release, let go, and wander down and into the ground. Follow that release of tension down into the ground. And then bring your awareness into your lower legs. So becoming aware of your knees, your calf, your shin bone, the muscles on either side of your shin bone, the density, the tightness of the calf muscle behind your shin bone. And as you become aware of the tension on the inside and outside of your knee as well, you'll notice that this tension begins to transform itself. It begins to dissolve and starts to join this downward trend as it slides down your lower legs, down through your ankles, through your feet, and into the ground. So now your whole lower leg is relaxed from your lower legs through your feet and into the ground. And you can feel how that tension has left the lower legs. If there's any remaining tension, you can breathe in, allow it to come forward. And on your breath out, you can let it release down and into the ground. And then bring your awareness to your buttocks resting on the ground. And feel the tension and holding here. Know that you don't have to hold on anymore. There's no need to hold on. You can give yourself permission to let go. You can allow your buttocks to soften. And if that feels difficult, you can go into the tension in the buttocks, feel the tightness, feel the holding on. And when you feel that tightness and holding on, you can begin to feel that alchemical process happening. The alchemy of tension transforming into wholeness. There's a healing that happens as it melts like butter into the ground. And this isn't a one and done thing. It's a very long process. So as one layer of tension dissolves, another layer of tension will reveal itself. So your buttocks starts to soften. You can feel more connection with the ground. And then you may start to notice tension in the pelvic bones itself. Feeling the tension in your pelvic bones, going right into the tension in your pelvic bones. Not feeling any rush into letting go, but going right into the holding and tension in the pelvic bones. And then notice how when you really attend to that tension, that the tension naturally dissolves. It flows down through the sides of your pelvis and into the ground. And there's a letting go that happens. Then feeling the tightness on the skin on the lower belly. Feeling the holding on there, and the tightness in the skin on the lower belly. Very tight, very taut. Breathing right into that tension. And then feeling it softening with your breath out. So now your whole lower body is relaxing from your pelvis down through your legs, through your feet and into the ground, and feel your whole lower body relaxing. On your breath in, you can allow any remaining tension in your lower body, your legs, your feet, your pelvis to come forward. And on your breath out, you can let it go. And then coming to your mid-back at the base of your ribs, feeling the base of your ribs touching the ground. Feeling the tension along the breastbone, the sternum. Feeling the tension where your rib cage connects to your sternum. And as you breathe out, allowing that to soften, release, and let go. Feeling your shoulders heavy on the ground. Feeling the tension in your shoulders, allowing yourself to go into your shoulders. Feeling all of the bands of tension in the shoulders, allowing them to come forward. So much adult tension that's held in our shoulders. And then as you breathe out, feel that release through the backs of your shoulder blades and into the ground. Feel your elbows heavy on the ground. And then become aware of the tension in your hands, and your wrists, your fingers. Your forearms. Allow that tension to come forward and allow the tension in your fingers, your hands, your wrists, the base of your thumbs, your forearms. Allow that to slide down through your upper arms, through your elbows and into the ground. So now your whole body is relaxing. From your shoulders, your elbows, your rib cage, your pelvis, and your feet. And then you come to your head. And feel the tension in your head. Feel the tension around your lips, around your eyes and your eyebrows, your forehead. All the tension from facial expressions, from speaking, from fatigue. Allowing that to come forward, to be recognized, to be acknowledged, and then let it sink down through the back of your head and into the earth. Let it go. Feel the tension on your scalp, through all the follicles of your hair. Feel the tension in your brain from so much thinking, figuring it out, knowing you don't have to figure it out. There's no prize for having it all figured it out. Let the weight of your head be heavy, the weight of your brain be heavy. Feel the tension in your temples. Allow that to come forward and allow that to drain down through the back of your head and into the earth. So now your whole body is relaxing. Your 2 feet, your pelvis, your elbows, your mid-back, your shoulders, and your head. On your in-breath, breathe in, feeling any remaining tension in your body. And on your out-breath, let go and follow the tension down and into the earth. Do this a few times. Breathe into your body. A new layer of tension will reveal itself. And on your out-breath, you'll follow the tension out of your body and down into the earth. And then allow yourself to become aware of this level of embodiment, of somatic relaxation. And know that you're creating a new level of being, of relaxation, and that you're planting the seeds that when you reach this level of relaxation, it's not possible to return to previous levels of tension. And that when you come to this level of relaxation, that you can carry this level of relaxation with you into your world, into your life. And so as you lie here now, you can set that intention to carry this sensation, to carry this way of being with you as you return to a seated position now.
Here's my little guy.
Oh. Do you guys think that Tim and I will ever get pets?
Well, we took 2 dogs hiking a lot with us and on a lot of vacations to the mountains and stuff. We wouldn't dream of going without them. I know you travel a lot, so it depends on if your dogs travel well.
We don't travel a lot. We actually stay here.
But I
We
mean,
go
you
hiking.
go places during the day and stuff, and dogs
Yeah.
like company. So if it can include them on a lot of the trails and places where you like to go. Our guys love to go. This guy, even though he's really little, he's walked 3 to 5 miles, and then we just carry him after.
Right. Yeah. It would require moving. Our place doesn't allow dogs, but I just wonder. I don't know. I know Tim would love it. I don't know. We go through phases where we think we will, and then, I don't know. I look at all of you with your pets, the way they come around you during your meditation, and look at that face, the dream you're killing today.
She is the most misunderstood dog in the world. She's Miss Melancholy. Okay? That's her. Miss Nostalgia.
Aww. Aww.
But a rejection from a dog is even worse than from your daughter.
Your dogs don't reject you ever?
No, they're just when they have to be 2 weeks in a kennel because I'm on mission in the outback, and they're not very happy when I'm back. It's like, we don't like you. It takes like 2 minutes and then it's okay.
That's cute.
Yeah, those two, my God. They have traveled the world, and I told them that they have to do that when they want to be with me, so they're okay with it.
That's great. Okay, so this time now is not to talk about our pets, actually. If you want to, you can. But I usually give you an opportunity if you want to speak about your experience, or if you have any questions, now you can. So that's what the time is now for you.
When you go into the, especially on the pelvic floor and the lower abdomen, I have the feeling that I'm quite relaxed there, but maybe I have not yet reached these levels of tension that I might be having in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this because of the fact I have this problem right now with my sciatica, and I still have a cold.
Mm-hmm.
But also the lower back, this region has always been my hiatus. And so maybe I have not yet reached these levels where I could say, okay, although now I'm not feeling stressed in there, maybe there is still something in there that should be released, and I have not yet reached that level.
This is a really good question, and I'm really glad that you brought it forward. When you lie down and do this style of meditation, because we're going into our body and we're releasing tension, there can be an expectation to come to our problem area and have a whole bunch of problems in our problem area, right? And that often isn't the case as you're experiencing. You're coming to your problem area where there's sciatica, and it's just like free and easy ground. And that's completely normal. So it's not to say that it maybe will always be like that there. You may come and find tension that needs to be released. It's just that it's just that I think our body carries tension in interesting ways. Like we're coming into our subtle body, and our physical body is expressing tension in different ways, and we come into our subtle body, and our subtle body is releasing tension in a whole different way. So while our physical body may be injured in a certain way, our subtle body is expressing things differently. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
My experience with this meditation was that the pelvis area, like my pelvis area was released, and especially my buttocks, I felt more tension being released, and my shoulders, and it was different because I don't normally meditate at night, but I think like the darker lighting helps me relax more. So it was quite peaceful for me.
It can be really interesting to try this meditation at different times of the day.
I found that when I've done it in the morning, I tend to, for some reason, even though I've been sleeping all evening, I find that I tend to I fall asleep more in the morning, but if I do it in the afternoon after work, I can stay more alert. I'm not sure why, but that's the different times I've done it. In the morning, I've felt more sleepy and tend to drift off, and in the afternoon, I can stay more awake.
Yeah, so I think it's worthwhile to try at different times of day because you're going to have different experiences. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about the difference in hearing the cue to on. But that was a cue that allowed me to experience more subtle level of tension, because the idea of holding something that you could let go of was different than like sort of, it was almost like it was a more active thing to do. So my mind would do it rather than saying relax, or I don't know. It was just for some reason it came to me, and I'm post-call. I was up last night. I delivered 4 babies, so I'm really tired.
Gosh.
I know. So that could influence, because I know I've heard it before, but I've never experienced it before. Like it was something for me to do, so it was more helpful than just being told to relax. There was something about that connection between holding and then letting go.
So the cue, so you kind of went out because of internet connection. The cue of letting go is more useful for you than relax?
Yeah, at least it was today for some reason. Because instead of telling me to do something that I sometimes can do and not do, you gave me something to do that I could on some level do to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. And so like I can always let go a little. It's easier thing for me to do than to just suddenly relax. It's like it allowed me to kind of experience the layers, because you can let go and
I think it's I think it shows the limitation of language and how sometimes we can be open to certain cues and really closed off by certain cues, for sure. And it makes me think of how, like, one of the worst things that you can say to somebody when they need to relax is just relax, right? It just doesn't work, right?
No, it does not.
Never.
It makes me wonder how many times I say relax in that meditation. Yeah, interesting. And I think too, sometimes those cues that can bring us to a place of extreme tension, right, to a real edge, can be useful as well, right? Because then it's like you're right up against an edge, and then there's the thing that needs to be released too, right? Okay. There's that word that always triggers me. Oh, you're muted, Cedrine.
My mother, she has that ability. She can do that in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm very calm. There's 2 words and I'm up the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I have found out that I know it has been an issue because I've been watching your courses for a while now. That actually, when somebody is talking to me when I'm doing my relaxation or even my yoga, these cues just help me so much. They are so important, because in my head, I just go some places and I think I'm doing the right thing. And then suddenly somebody tells me it's that muscle, that one behind there, and you let go. And then I go and search for it, and then I let go. So these yoga sessions where you just hold for ages and you do nothing, they don't bring me anything. So this cueing and saying that now you let go or relax. I mean, for me, it's let go. I think let go, it's better, because then you let and then go. So this cueing is very important, and I really appreciate it. I have been on another community for a while, which was by an Indian Himalayan teacher, and it was also very interesting, and he brought in a lot of the Indian ways, and but still he did not cue so much on where to particularly go and letting go and doing things. So I really appreciate that, and I think it helps me a lot.
I think instruction is important too. I agree with you, but otherwise I wouldn't be doing it this way, because I think you've made the point, which is otherwise you're off. And to have the direction of, so you can be told what to do, but unless you're told how to get there, you know, it's really difficult. Mm-hmm. I especially notice it with my sciatic pain right now, and having these cues on, you know, that you should then really search for the point where it is, and then letting go. This really, I think this, how you just said about you know how to do the pose, but then in the pose, how to get really then to release to it, you need to add, as a teacher, or as what I was looking for, the instructions to do so. So actually the manual that comes with it, because the pose you can do, but then right,
what is the whole sense in doing the pose? So that is my point.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I think that it's so, are you hearing that, Nicole? Like, because Nicole's a new teacher. Any teacher can say, put your foot here, put your foot here, put your arm here, put your arm here. But now once we get here, what are we doing? Why are we here? Yeah. Anybody else want to speak about their experience or any questions before we wrap up today?
What really stood out to me was today I heard you say, it's almost like it's going back to the letting go that you said, remember it's okay to let go. That is what I heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was permission to let go. And for some reason, that's what I needed to be reminded of tonight, that it's okay to let go. And it brings me back to trust. You know, it's just, I keep coming back to that need to surrender. I want to hold on. And I don't know what I'm trying to hold on to, because I know there's nothing really that I want to hold on to. So I appreciate your reminder. It's okay to let go.
I totally get it. And the ego's going to trip us up again and again. I'm totally laughing at myself today, because I had this like list of things I could do before I could relax. Like, so I had to get this filming done, and then I had to do this and that and the other, and then I could go have a nap, because I knew in my, I'm like on overdrive and I'm tired and I need to relax. So at first I have to do this, and this, not like I can relax. And then, you know what? It's going to be so much easier to go do this, and this. So I followed my little stupid ego mind, and I did the filming. I did this, and this, and then I relaxed, and I went and had a nap. And you know how much better I feel now that I've had a nap? And I realized, had I just gone and had that nap first, and this, and this would have been so much easier. So yeah, that permission is really important. It's okay to let go. Pam shared her screen.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You were also talking about how sometimes we do not like to share the little things or whatever. So this relaxation, actually, I started, it's like a ritual when I come home. First, the dogs, they welcome me. And then instead of rushing into putting down my bags and looking here and what am I going to eat and what am I going to do, take the dogs, let's go, I say, no, I come home. I pet the dogs, I say hello, I put down my bag, I put off my coat, I put off my scarf, I put off my shoes, and I do it like a ritual. I do it slowly. It doesn't matter if I have to leave the house in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, no, I let go. I relax, I come home. First I come home, and then I go with the dogs for a walk. So since I've been doing this, I feel also this whole stress that you still have with you, you know, from the work and all that, you just let go. And then afterwards you reward yourself by going through all these steps and then having dinner. You sit down and relax. And then for me, it works much better that way since a while.
I really like that idea of a mindful ritual to close off one part of your life before you go on with the next part of your life. These can be like little doorways into different parts of our life. I think it's a really beautiful idea. Will you post about that somewhere in the membership site?
Yes, I can do that.
Yeah, I think because I'd like to like adopt that. I think about when we take down the film set, you know, we're like, you know, that could be a slow kind of returning our home back to our home, you know. I think a lot of us can think about different transitions that way.
Why I actually started doing it is because I noticed that my dogs were not very happy with me. I come home, I rush, I take them, we go out. And then I'm like, yeah, you're right, girls. I left you for 8 hours on your own. And now I'm coming home. I'm just rushing you just because I want to have dinner and I want to sit down and I want to see what's going on the forum or whatever. So I said, no, I have to stop that. So now I'm taking the time to do it. And since that, I feel much better and they also feel much better.
Did I ever, you know, I'm going to write this down because I think that could be transitions. I think that could be a great theme for a whole month, actually, even where we pay attention to transitions. Did I ever end up teaching a whole class on transitions where you pay attention to the space between the poses? Does anybody remember?
Not yet. I have not yet found that.
I don't recall one, Melissa.
I'll have to look. When you post on the forum somewhere, Sandrine, you're gonna blog about that, or are you gonna?
It's as you like it. I can blog, or shall I open a new thread on it?
It might be good to put it like in response to this, because then it's here. It won't be till next week now that the recording's going.
No problem.
Okay. And then I'll look for the class if I did. I think I must have. I think this would be a worthwhile theme to think about, because I think we often don't think about the space between things. And these are really great spaces to recollect ourselves rather than to rush, because it's those spaces between where the tension can start to mount again, right? Yeah. Thank you. Anything else?
I still feel the tension releasing as we're speaking now because of all this talk of letting go. So I feel my knees letting go and everything. So it's nice.
That's great.
I really noticed it in my shoulders, where I dislocated my shoulder, and then when I do meditation like this, and I can feel the releasing, like Madeline said, like afterwards, like even now, I can feel it feeling a lot better from when I first started the meditation, and even after it ended, it feels a lot better. Nice.
Yeah. That's great. It doesn't have to just be the formal practice on the mat, right? It can keep going.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Okay, everybody. I thank you for joining us today. It's always nice to come together like this. And as I said, we come together every Monday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific and 5:30 p.m. Pacific, so about this time. And Pam, I hope you get a good night's sleep tonight, darling. I just have to ask, was that 4 babies from one mother?
No. Midwives don't usually that. It's just kind of complicated. I work for Kaiser, which is a big integrated system. So when I'm working, I'm at the hospital, and I take care of all the people in labor that have uncomplicated pregnancy.
Okay. Okay.
That was 4 different mothers.
Okay. Because that would have been quite the birth.
Yeah, that's like a litter.
Not that 4 births aren't all unique and wonderful and special and eventful in their own rights. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and it's wonderful to connect with you this way. I look forward to seeing you, those of you who can be with us on Monday, and I'll see all of you on the forum and in January when we meet like this. Namaste.
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 Thank you.
Bye.